Next week is embryonic development. There's actually no models for embryonic development, and there's not really a lot of in-person things that are needed to be done, so we're actually going to keep that one completely online, which I think I will actually do from this point forward. It's always been one of those labs where it's like, we're coming into lab for no particular reason. So that will be entirely online, so don't come into lab next week. The week after that is actually Easter break, so you won't be in lab that week. And then the week after that is actually our final lab. April 12th is going to be the reproductive system. Anything from embryonic development that we didn't get to that might be a little confusing, you can actually go over a lot of that stuff in the reproductive system. Those two topics tie together pretty well. And then the last day of the semester, like the entire semester for the whole school, is actually April 19th. So the last day for a lab for us is actually the last day of school. We will actually have the lab practical that day. Keep in mind that if you're happy with your 2 scores on lab exam 1 and lab exam 2, you can just skip taking lab exam 3 and average the other 2 scores together and pop it in there. So you want to be mindful of that in case you want to miss a practical exam. Always a good thing. The practical exam results are here. And I'll hand these back towards the end of lab. Maybe when we're kind of looking over the models, I'll hand these back. We actually had 10 scores in the 40s. I think we might have had a perfect 50, but I can't remember right now. We had 10 scores in the 30s, and then we had 4 and 3 in the 20s and the 10s. And of course, in my opinion, anybody with a 30 or above is doing just fine. I sometimes, especially at this time of the semester, get students coming to me and saying, I got a 32 out of 50, you know. The reality is, yes, that feels like a 64%, and technically it is. 32 out of 50 is a 64%. There's no getting around it. But remember that we keep your lab practicals at only a percentage of the total lab score, and then the total lab score is 1/3 of the total score. So I do that because I know that practical exams tend to be like really broad, and you have to know lots and lots of details. But if you're really wondering what to do, you know, check out the review questions at the back of the lab, for example, or try to do some exercises out of the lab book. Get to know it really well. So I will hand those back towards the end of lab, and I'll put the key on this high table over here if you want to check any of your answers. And then today we're going to be going over Boyle's Law, actually, and looking at our respiratory models. We have a few out here, so I'm just going to start to kind of spread those around. I would say mostly make sure you're looking at the larynx models. They pull apart, they pull right out of here, pull them right out of here, and then pull them apart. Make sure you understand, you know, the vocal folds, the vestibular folds, the 2 cartilages that I want you to know. Make sure that you are able to recognize those things in the models. And then we're going to do a spirometer demonstration as well. We have 3 spirometers set up on the side here. So I already have one that I did this morning. We had 2 students this morning in lab. I feel like we can safely ask 3 students to go over and do a demonstration of lung capacity. I think that can be a safe thing to do. As long as there's just 3 students, we'll ask you to pull down your mask and then really do the exercise. So we'll see how we did. We got a 4,000 this morning. We got a 4 liter, 4,000 milliliter lung volume. So good. Okay.